gentlemen, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go, Devils!
Hello, everybody. We are the Uncle Puckers. I'm Chris. He's Tim. Tony Zamboni will be joining us shortly, so he just has to do his hair and make sure he is very pretty for us. But
he's
so
we got
one. So he's a sexy beast, that Tony Anderson. Tony Zamboni. Anyway, so this is we have a lot to talk about this show, and I just. Something really bothered me. And I think that it's my own damn fault, right? Because since the Olympics, I really wasn't sure, like, okay, which team is it? Are we the team now that is looking better and, could be a playoff team? I don't think that at any point this season I ever thought this team could possibly win a Stanley Cup or even make a really deep playoff run. But I thought, okay, this is the team that we should have had this year going forward. And then you think of all the lapses and all the terrible games and these bad stretches of no scoring and everything else. And we questioned all year, right? The character of this team, the heart of this team, and all that. So then you go and finally Tom Fitzgerald is shown the door. Probably the best thing that could happen to this franchise. You got the guys, doing the players are talking about it, and they're saying all the right stuff. They're taking responsibility, and that's fine. Jack and Luke, especially Jack, seemed legitimately upset. But, I guess when your GM is also your BFF, that could also, be a conflict of interest. But I texted the group thread before the Flyer game where there still was that tiny little sliver, right? Like, you can't worry about what Detroit and Columbus and Ottawa and Philadelphia and the Islanders are doing. You have to take care of your own business. That's all you could do. So if you get eliminated because Columbus beats fucking Ottawa or whatever the situation is, but you win out, you could at least go into this offseason saying, you know what, we played our asses off right up to the end. We didn't make it, whatever. But you still had that little sliver of hope going into that Flyer game. This time last week, we were talking, actually Sunday, I think we did a show, and we were talking about, like, this is a big week, and it's still there for them. They can still go and grab it. We weren't under any illusion that this was a done deal. This team was going to make the playoffs, but we just wanted to see them win out and let the chips fall where they may. And once again, they get a little bit of adversity, all right? Scout leader Tommy was just fired, and now this team has to go out and play a game for their playoff lives. And they just shit the bed again. And then last night against Pittsburgh, I turned the game off after Pittsburgh scored. I turned it off. I said, I'm not watching this because I know exactly how it's going to end. I woke up this morning, I checked the fucking score. It was exactly what I thought was going to happen. The character on this team, the heart of this team is non-existent. It's non-existent. I want to dive into a lot of stuff with you, but I just had to get that off my chest because you had work to fucking get done and you didn't do it. And I'll let you go. And then I have a few questions for you, but I'm sorry. I was pissed.
You done?
I'm done.
Yeah, I think that game against the Flyers is fucking pathetic, man. And last night, like, they played that game from a beach in Cancun. They're done. It's whatever. I'm not even. I know you're upset, and I think it's legitimate to be upset. But like, I've been so numb to this all season that it's just kind of like, you know what? I'm glad it's fucking finally over because that little dumb part of me is done being like dumbly optimistic, and it's just like, all right, now they got rid of Fitz. They're eliminated. It's time to move on. And guys are getting shut down for the rest of the year. Luke already, now Markstrom just got shut down for the rest of the year. I would have loved to have done that with a little bit of a Tanya Harding fucking baseball bat move. Get some, go see what Jeff Galooly's up to. But yeah, it sucks. But Dubs mentioned this here, and I mentioned this in my recap blog last night, which is I cannot believe like you think it's bad for you. I had to sit there and watch those games so I could actually write about it afterwards.
Yeah, no, fuck that
shit. which,
fuck that.
which, yeah, it's pretty bad. But I'm officially out on Keefe. I was a little indifferent to him, kind of thinking like, yeah, maybe he deserves another shot type of thing. I've seen a lot of different things and look back at his Toronto days, and this is always his MO, is where he couldn't bring his team up to play well against divisional opponents and when the games mattered. We're 7-17-2, as Dubs points out here, against the Metro.
Disgusting.
And yeah, and every other game, we're 104-point pace.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's fucking embarrassing. We got swept by the Islanders, we got swept by the Flyers, and we were 1-3 against Pittsburgh. We even lost to the fucking Rangers. Just what a shitty season. We'll get into the POHO and GM stuff, but I think we've kind of gone over that already. But
yeah, there is one main topic I do kind of want to talk about, but like just to kind of put a button on this, like I texted in the group thread before the Flyer game to you guys, like we're gonna know everything we need to know about the character of this team by the way they play tonight. Like they just lost your GM. You're all just sitting there taking responsibility for it. We feel awful. Fitz has been with me from the beginning, whoever it is. And we didn't play up to it and this and that. Yeah. You're the reason ultimately that he was fired, but we all know how that works. You had every opportunity still to just say, you know what? Maybe ownership doesn't believe in this team right now, maybe whoever, but we are going to go out there and do it. And they went out and what were they down 2-0 first 4 minutes in that game?
Yeah, first shot. And Zegras was on his way to a hat trick, like three minutes into the game.
Yeah. 3 minutes into the game. And we talked about this before they were eliminated. I think it was before the Flyer game. And we were saying, and I don't know which one of us said it, but one of us said like, Jacob Markstrom's got to be the most important player moving forward. If there's any chance of the playoffs, like he has to be better. We can't even, you cannot even think about going into the playoffs if you're going to have goaltending. The dude's capable of it. We've seen him do it before. He needs to get back to form, comes back, has a shutout against Montreal. All right, things are looking good. And then what the frick was that against Philly? The guys got
the first two goals against him though, we kill the guy and like he stinks, but like none of those were his fault. Like the first goal, just our defense got abused. Siegenthaler was literally fucking twerking.
But again,
he was like throwing ass at fucking Zegras in front of the net or whoever scored.
I know. They were making fun of him on the fucking
and then the second goal, like Siegenthaler and Hamilton were just watching as fucking Martone and Zegras just walked right through him. Same thing happened in Pittsburgh last night where like Nemec is just puck watching and there's an easy slot line pass and
I'm not, there's nobody that is absolved from this year. Nobody. Like it is, I think, fair game on everybody. And this is part of what I want to kind of dive into a little bit. There's a lot of talk about Nico, a lot of talk about, him saying, well, I don't want to talk. I still have another year left. I don't want to talk about contract. Like I get that. They're programmed to say
blown
that.
Out of proportion.
Right. Exactly. They're programmed to say that. But, and I've been on this, I'm one of the biggest Nico Hischier fans. Anybody that listens to this show knows that I will fight a grizzly bear for Nico Hischier. I love him. But the more that I've been thinking about it, something's got to fucking change. Like, I'm not saying trade Nico Hischier. I'm not saying trade anybody. I'm just saying, like, the new GM, whoever it is, seriously better come in and I love the fact that whoever it is, they are not beholden to anybody on this team. They have no relationship with anybody on this team. They're going to look at it with fresh eyes and they're going to make the decisions necessary. Hopefully they're going to make the decisions necessary to win.
Yeah,
but if you don't,
okay.
Go ahead.
The way I look at it with Nico is I think it's way below under proportion. I don't see a world where he doesn't sign an extension. However, if he looks around and says, I don't think we can win here, that's a huge red flag because he himself would be a major part of us winning here. And I don't want him here if he thinks that he can't be a part of us winning here. And I think that should be a huge fucking red flag.
And I think
Like,
it was obvious.
It's because what I want to hear from him is I want to be part of the solution. Like, that's what I want to hear from him. And if he doesn't think he's good enough or can be part of the solution, then yeah, get him the fuck out of here. The problem is in just terms of talent and what he does on the ice and what he contributes to on the ice is there isn't another 2C available in the league that's as good as him. And it's just not, it's the okay. So the only way I see something working is if Ottawa misses and we flip Nico for Brady, and then we use or flip Nico for Brady, and then we somehow can pick up Larkin from Detroit because they're rebuilding too. But like that's kind of it. Like, I don't like Robbie Thomas in St. Louis. I don't know what they would fucking want for him. I like McTavish is fine. Hey Tony, sorry, I'm in the middle of a rant.
No, it's okay, man.
So I don't know. I think we're kind of stuck here, and I think we're being emotional about it because of how badly the season went. I think by the time next season starts and we have a new GM, we have hopefully more of a new front office. Like, this should just be the start of things. Like, everybody seems to think Shanahan's coming as the president of hockey operations. Like, I wrote about that I think that would be an ideal fit. He has a good background in managing up to a very large, very hands-on organization that is run by very wealthy people. That would be the same type of thing that he would be doing for us. He also has the ability to talk to them in a business sense and translate hockey into a business perspective to then understand the resources that the Devils would need to take the next step. I things fizzled out for him in Toronto. He was responsible for living, but there isn't another example of a guy, I think, that kind of checks as many boxes as he does. You're never going to find anybody that's perfect.
And you can't. I mean, it's hard to juxtapose. It's hard to juxtapose any of the other 31 teams with what the media market and the pressure and stuff that's Toronto. That's an entirely different animal.
Right.
So, I think Shanahan's a good fit for POHO. I'm all for it, but the fans don't want to hear what you have to say, Tim, and they don't want to fucking hear what I have to say. They want to hear what Tony Zamboni has to say. Hi, Tone.
What's up, guys? I got nothing to say. I signed out 2 weeks ago. I'm still watching, but yeah, I watched some. I don't stay up at night now, man. For the last week or two, I'm just because it's done. I mean, it's like I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning for games, so it's been a pretty rough year.
So what were your feelings, Tony, when you heard that Fitz was fired?
I was surprised. I was glad. I mean, it definitely need to change, and I think that it gives me a little bit of excitement because I think if we would have had him going into next season, I don't think I would have been excited. I think I would have just kind of felt like it was going to be a repeat of this year. But I think it's good, man. It's time to move forward. And I think the change is good. And there's going to be, I'm pretty sure, no matter who comes in, there's going to be a lot of changes, and I think it's probably going to be good for the team. So that's what I'm excited about. Like I said, I know like they were still in it a little bit, but I knew it was done a while ago, and we
all knew that. We all knew it in reality, but that little part of us is like, maybe.
And you still have to go out there and play the game, and you have to go out there and fucking. I mean, to just go out there and throw up all over the fucking ice like they did the last two games. I don't know what is up with the character of this fucking team. Whenever there's any type of bad news or anything that happens on or off the ice, this team crumbles. Whether it's Fitz got fired, Jack hurt his hand, Pesci's out, somebody just scored 2 quick goals on us. It doesn't matter. The team just crumbles. I hate it.
You got to give it to Pittsburgh too, guys. I mean,
what's that?
You got to give it to Pittsburgh too, because I never thought they were, they fucking get in the playoffs again.
I remember when we were talking before the season started, and we were going through the teams, and I had Pittsburgh in the top 3. And Tim and I had a conversation about who we believed in more, Pittsburgh or Detroit. And Tim said Detroit, and I said Pittsburgh. And I'm very proud of that because I feel like I have been vindicated to Sydney and the boys. But
and I honestly, a guy who should win probably Coach of the Year is Dan Muse. Like if you watch like how their offensive zone play and their offensive structure it's completely modern. It's in juxtapose that against the Devils systems and the way they play. Like ours just feels so fucking stale relative to the way they play. They're the cross lot passing, they're sort of southeast southwest passing, finding trailers, puck support. Everything about the way that they play offensively is the way that we should be playing offensively. We saw a little bit of flashes of it, but I just feel like it's just so stale. We need new thinking up and down this organization.
I agree with you about Keith. I think he's got to go. I mean, next week, I think we finish up Tuesday night in Boston. Like he needs to go by Wednesday. And I hope that they have a new general manager, hopefully soon. Now, I haven't heard anything other than that Sonny Meadow was interviewing with the Devils and he was also interviewing with Toronto. Not sure if that happened yet or whatever. Is there any more news or anything, any action on the GM front that anybody knows about? Mostly Tim, because I know Tony doesn't know.
And the other guy that's getting a lot of smoke is Langenbrunner, who's AGM in Boston. So there are some people that are vehemently against him because of shit that happened. And I was in the middle of having like 2 young kids and the Devils suck. So like, I don't totally remember what went down with like them giving the C from Elias to Langenbrunner. And then I don't totally remember what happened. Do either of you remember off the top of your head?
I remember it happened, but I don't know what the politics were behind it.
Yeah. I'm with Tony. I remember it happening. Don't remember the politics of it. I don't know. I know that Langenbrunner left the organization because he was with us twice, right? 2 different stints. Am I wrong?
I believe so, yeah.
I thought
someone was with us twice. It might have been him.
We had a few guys. A few of them were twice.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of guys, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But
whatever, yeah.
I know that he left with there was some kind of bad feelings when he left, whether it's the first time, the second time, or the only time, it doesn't matter. But I do know that. But again, you're talking about 25, 30 years ago. Who gives a shit? I like Langenbrunner. I mean, the idea of like the front office being run by Brendan Shanahan and Jamie Langenbrunner is pretty fucking cool.
And Brodor's not going anywhere either.
No, and he's a figurehead, and that's what he does. And I don't think Brodor wants any of that smoke. I think Brodor's happy where he is, and you
don't want to hear people talking shit about Brodor. You don't want to hear that.
That's the last thing I want is to fucking. I have no idea what Marty does, but if he is actively involved in the goaltending decisions that have happened, like
he has to be. He's the best goalie to ever fucking play.
I honestly
won't fight anybody who tells.
Did you guys mention Markstrom being done for the year?
Yeah, we did. Well, Marky and Luke are done. Nice to see Dawes get called up. Good to see Villain like Chalowski 1 game. Then they're like, oh god, this guy sucks. We totally forgot, and they brought up Villain.
And you know what the thing is, like
look, I wanted Markey too. I thought he was the guy. I think relatively the only other guy I thought would be great would have been Omar. Because you remember during that summer it was I wanted Hellebuck first, but it was going to be Markey, Saros, or Omar. Those were kind of the 3 guys that we were circling the wagons on. I think there are some question marks about it. Then Saros signed his extension in Nashville, which then made Askarov available. And I was big on Askarov. I was like, we gotta find a way to get this guy. We should have fucking drafted him with the Alex Holtz pick.
Well, I know,
but I was fine with signing. I was fine with signing Markstrom. Like I knew what his flaws were, but his flaws have been so exacerbated by how fucking bad our defense is. And hang on, I'm getting to something here. Sorry. I was a big fan of the Brad Shaw hire. I think we were sold an absolute bill of goods on this guy. Like I there isn't a single defenseman that has even stagnated. Almost every single defenseman to a T has regressed under him. Our D zone system is a fucking disaster. It's that's why, like, just get rid of all the coaches.
And
put Sarge somewhere else. Like, I saw Keefe talking to him on the bench last night, and Sarge looked like he had no idea where he was.
I know. I mean, I look. As far as the goaltending goes and everything, like I remember back when we were talking about goaltenders, I thought make a trade and bring Spencer Knight in. I thought that would have been great, and I think it still would have been great if they would have done that. There's a lot to talk about, and we have now until October to really go through everything.
We got to pace ourselves before we start having the same conversation over and over again.
But let's just kind of take some bullet points of actions that have to be taken or at least addressed immediately for whoever comes in to take over this thing. And one of them, again, is goaltending. You're stuck with Markey now for 2 more years at $6 million a year, and I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he probably has a no movement clause, right?
He has, I believe he has a 20 team in his first year and like a 10 in his second.
Okay, so this is the time to trade him.
The issue there are a couple of things. So like there are 2 buyout windows in the summer, right? And we have to wait until we open up the second buyout window. The only way you can open up a second buyout window is by taking someone to arbitration. So we only have 2 guys that are arbitration eligible, and Markstrom actually qualifies. 20 team next year. Next year, I think it's the year after that is 10. So we need to get the fuck out of this contract, however we can. And I think we save maybe like $3.6 million on the cap. I have like a whole chart open over here. But we need to be able to take either Gritzuk or Cotter to arbitration, or we'll have one of them elect arbitration for their next deal. I think it might fall under collusion, but I think we need someone in the front office needs to whisper to one of them, and be like, hey, we're going to take you to arbitration. Because arbitration always winds up badly. Like there's always kind of bad blood in there. It's like, hey, we're going to take you to arbitration just so we can open up this buyout window so we can fucking get out of Markstrom, and tell them that. The other thing I think is, because Markey's 35 plus, so I learned a lot about all the little nuances of this. It's kind of really interesting. So, Dadonov signed a 35 plus contract that's bonus laden. Markstrom's contract isn't a 35 plus contract because his salary is the same as it was in previous years. So like if a salary went down and bonus structure went up, then it would be considered a regular 35 plus contract. So we can buy him out and get salary cap relief from buying him out. But the only way to do that is arbitration.
Okay. Devil Heaven, to answer your question, the salary cap next year goes up to $104 million with a floor of 76.9. And this year is 95.5. So it's going up, $9 million. That's a player. That's a great, really good player. Now so if you can move Markey,
mm-hmm.
Who do you go? Okay. Who's starting next year? Dawes? I'm okay with Dawes.
I mean, I think Allen has also proven that his age is catching up to him too. Like he was great in the beginning of the year, but like the amount of games that he's played, like he was been terrible too. But it's such a symbiotic relationship with the defense and how the defense plays in front of him. Like there's only so many, 20-foot slot line passes that you can dive to save because Jonas Siegenthaler is fucking twerking in front of the net like he's at some club, fucking throwing ass at Zegras. Motherfucker, fuck him.
So Big Mike is he even coming to the team?
Not that I've seen. The only one that I've really seen is potential to come over live. But he's still in the KHL playoffs right now. I don't know what Yegorov's deal is.
Now, Tony, what about you? What do you think about Markstrom?
I think it's gonna be him and Allen again next year. I don't think. I really do.
As long as Marty's here, I think Markey's here.
I mean, Malik is another guy that I would love to see. I was when me and Mike DeCaro were talking last week, and I said I'd love to see Dawes or Malik come up and get some of these starts. And now I'm glad Dawes is, but maybe just maybe we could fucking develop a player and actually have them step in and be serviceable
And
in
that's
the
why
NHL.
McKinnon and Dugan need to go also. They're responsible for Utica. McKinnon's responsible for Utica, and Dugan's responsible for development.
This team is a lot worse off than I think people think. I don't think they're in a great spot right now.
I kind of agree with you. Hang on, can I pull something up? Let me see if
Pull
let me see
something
if
out.
let me see if pull something up.
Oh,
Yeah.
You wish.
Hey,
Hey,
I know,
Tony,
yeah,
do you have a Art the Clown bobblehead?
No, I do not. Chris is Tim, what are you pulling up here?
Chris is on the phone. I don't know. Who's he talking to? What, are you selling some food? Okay. Tony, man, what's up, buddy? Miss you.
What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
I'm all right. All right.
How's everything going? You
That's
guys
nice. The weather's getting better. I was just pulling the tarp off my pool, and it looks like a fucking. I was surprised like Shrek didn't come popping out of it. It's a fucking swamp in there. I'm gonna have to do a lot of work on that fucking thing.
Yeah, we're getting here now, man.
Yeah, a swarm of wasps didn't like me pulling the tarp out of the pool.
Killer
So I was like,
bees.
you know what? Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this here.
Sawyer says hello, Tim.
Hi, Sawyer. What's up, dude?
That's who was just calling.
All right.
So
what
were you guys talking about?
I put together. We're just saying hi because we haven't seen each other in a while. So I put together a little chart just to. Can you see this? Okay.
Yeah, I can zoom in.
All right.
Go ahead.
So I did that too. All right. So this is kind of where we stand with everybody. Just sort of everybody's under contract. The guys in red are the forwards that we would need to qualify or offer contracts to. And this is everybody. The only guy I don't have in here is Siplikov because I think the writing's on the wall for him that he's gone. So of all the guys that we would have to renew, Gritzuk, Cotter, Hallen, and McEwen. Are you keeping all of them? Some of them? I think Gritzuk's the only one I'm definitely on board with.
I would love to see McEwen if you know the little bit that we saw of him I actually liked, but you know, $850,000. I'm sure we could probably work something out with McEwen. I wouldn't mind him sticking around.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Hallinan I kind of liked on a two-way if he's an AHL, NHL guy. Cotter, I have no idea what to do with this guy, man. Like,
trade him.
Yeah, I feel like trade him or just don't qualify him and let him go, or we use him for the marquee buyout.
What do you think, Tone?
If you can trade him, do it. I mean, you know, I don't see it's not going to be a big thing. I don't think.
Yeah, imagine that trade. Just
I actually thought he was going to be. I have to admit, when they first got him, I was pretty excited. You know, but it was just it didn't work out like I thought it would.
All right.
Yeah, like he scored that nasty breakaway goal, and he's fucking money in the shootout. And it's just like, you know, I think the more we see of him, the more we realize the guy just has rocks for brains and like no hockey sense. Like if he could harness his talent in any way, shape, or form, he'd be so fucking nasty.
He'd be dominant.
Yeah, he'd be so because he's big, he's fast, he's got great fucking hands. He just can't put that together, and it's fucking sad, man. It's too fucking bad.
There's no way not to think about Welcome Back, Cotter too. When every time I hear his name, one time I'm not thinking about that fucking show. I don't know. So
defensively, the only guy would be Nemec. So this is everybody on here. I think
definitely.
I think we got to trade Nemec.
Gone.
I have just he's been so awful for months. He's had like 3 good moments this year.
So when I say things like I think this team is a lot worse than we all think or whatever, I mean, we've seen the regression. That's the thing that scares me a little bit. Can you go back up to the forwards and the yeah, thank you. I just want to go through. I'm going to name these guys and you tell me whether or not you care if they're on this team next year. All right. Just a yes or no, not what you want to do with them, but whether or not you actually give a shit if they're on the team. Timo Meier, me. Yes. I want him on the team.
Yeah. I think I want Timo on the team. Ideally. Now that Bob's not here.
Tone.
Yeah, I do.
And again, like this isn't like if a great trade came around and Timo was part of it. Like I'm just saying, static right now. Timo, yes. Jack,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. Brat, yes.
Yeah.
Nico, yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gritzuk, yes.
Yep.
Mercer,
I mean, I do, but I
Different.
wouldn't mind if he goes to get a good piece that, something, an actual something we need. So I mean, it's one of those
Right.
things you don't hate
Okay.
Mercer at all, but
It's like, so if you look, so the guys that you had right there, right? Timo, Jack, Brat, Nico, Gritzuk, Mercer. That's kind of our top 6, right?
mm-hmm.
Of those guys, Mercer's the
Brown.
one guy.
yeah.
Brown could be on Jack's wing, or he could be a third liner.
Sure. I
So-
don't think he should be with Jack. I'm off of
Yeah,
that train.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah,
I just, if he stays on the power play and plays third line, I'm totally fine with that.
mhm.
Yeah, so Mercer would be the one guy you can identify and be like, he's a pretty valuable piece. So like Mercer and that first round pick, does that get us anywhere with anybody?
I think it does.
Can we pick up Mason McTavish or like Robbie Thomas even? Like, would there be other pieces that St. Louis would want for Robbie Thomas? Because Rob Thomas brings another center in that can insulate. Oh, see you later, Tom.
And
so
Rob
yeah.
Thomas is a fucking goal scorer. Like the guy,
Yeah.
he can score goals. And all right.
And like we've talked about the kind of mix of players that we have, right? If you think about it, Jack's more of a playmaker, Brat's more of a playmaker, Nico's more of a shooter, and Nico's kind of 50-50, Timo's more of a shooter. Timo's a pretty bad shooter. He's more of a volume guy. Mercer's kind of somewhere in between. Gritzuk's a shooter. I think we need more shooters. I think,
right.
and if we can find an equivalent value for Brat that is more of a shooter than a playmaker, I'd listen.
Okay, I agree. Brown, yes.
I want to
for me.
keep Brown. Yeah, he's my MVP.
Tone.
Yeah, I like Brown. He was a
Nate?
positive, I think, this year. If you look at it, the whole thing.
Yeah,
I'm
top 10 red-handed all of Jersey too.
Nason gone.
Bye, Nathan.
Yeah, go.
Okay. Cody Glass, yes.
Yep. Keep him.
Yeah.
Okay. Bukestead, yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think I keep him.
Hamaniho, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Tone, you
Yeah.
okay.
If he has value, and you can, obviously we need to make moves, so we know that's going to happen anyway. So he's someone I can see go, and I wouldn't lose sleep over it.
I'm gonna put him in
that's the thing. Like if we push guys down the lineup, that pushes Hamaniho out of the lineup.
Right.
Because right
So
now
I'll put
that
him-
third line, yeah.
I'm gonna put him with the Nason and Mercer. All right. So Cotter, gone.
Okay.
Hallinan, gone.
Okay.
Like I mean, I don't care, right? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's not a needle mover. Everyone agree?
Yes.
Zach
Hallinan?
McEwen is
Yeah,
another guy. Yeah.
Hallidan's an NPC. I mean, if anything, he signs an AHL deal and should be
Right.
in the AHL.
So okay, so and McEwen we already talked about. Again, I'm going to put him in the bin to go because we just don't know. And now
Yeah.
we go to defense, right?
Yep.
Dougie Hamilton, yes or no, guys?
No.
No. Tim, no.
I kind of want to keep Dougie. I don't know. It depends on how it looks.
You would touch
what
it,
it
wouldn't
looks
you,
like.
Dougie?
All right. Well,
Fuck it. Get rid of him. I don't care.
Okay. Luke, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pesci, yes.
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 Dylan, yes.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
Keep
So
Dylan. Need guys like this, man. We get rid of this. We have no balls left.
I mean, sure, but he's probably the worst positional defenseman I've ever seen in my life.
we're going to keep him just on the exercise here, okay?
Yes, fine. Keep him.
Siegs, bye.
No. Yep. Out.
Tone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kovacevic, bye. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I think Kovacevic, I think I don't know. I think he can still, I still have hope in that dude, but
For $4 million a year?
I don't know. I mean, was the injury. Maybe it's taking him time. He hasn't gotten to where he's going to get to. But I didn't think he was a bad player. I know I liked him when he was first got to the team. I was like excited about having him. I don't know about that much money, but I'm going to say keep him, man. Give it a shot.
All right, you know what?
Honestly, give him one more year.
All right, I'm down with that.
Because I think to Tony, I think Tony's right. I think coming back from the injury, and look, like his last couple of games, actually, he hasn't been like that. And you could see him kind of steadily kind of getting back into form.
Right.
Like he had a nice little move. Jack hit him in the slot, and he had a little heel drag shot that. I think Seeloff's Skinner. Skinner, yeah. Where no, it was against Philadelphia, I think. That hit the knob of his stick. It was like going top corner and hit the goalie's knob. So,
okay. All right, so we're gonna keep Kovacevic. Nemec gone, and the other three guys that you have, White, Edwards, and Casey, they're AHL guys. We don't know, so that we're not even gonna put them in.
Yeah.
Jacob Markstrom.
Please God, go away.
We all know how we feel about him. Jake Allen.
Hey, for Jake Allen's money, I say you keep him as a backup.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with Allen. And you talk about leadership, like the leadership can come from anywhere in the room, and I think Allen does deliver a lot of that. I think Markstrom does too for an extent, but it's just like he's so fucking bad that it's hard to. It's kind of like that quote from Herb Brooks in Miracle, where it's like. Where Eruzioni's like, it was like, come on, Herb, lay off him. And he's like, why don't you worry about your own game? There's plenty there to keep you busy. That's like you can envision that over and over again. It's being said to Markstrom.
Markstrom was a great goalie, though, man. He was.
So I think what I did is over here, this Stanger going pile. This is kind of basically everything that we.
Okay, so what we just did, that little exercise, out of the 20 players, we have 12 that we want to stick around. Which means there are 8 slots potentially available for trade, for movement, or status quo and stays the same. But just us doing an eye test and watching this team, we didn't even go over numbers. We just going over, this is strictly on the eye test. We see 8 players that there is room for upgrades all around. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you wanted to keep Dylan, right? So, so I have the little org chart here, too. Right, so this is what we're looking at. This, can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
So, we're keeping Timo and Brat.
Yeah.
So, 4 forwards, 3 D.
Yeah.
Do we need to get rid of?
Yeah.
I think and a goalie. I didn't even put the goalies in there. I don't know, but we talked about it before. I'm gonna close this now because people are probably tired of fucking looking at Excel charts. No, I'm frozen too. How about that? What a fucking shocker.
Yes, Devils haven't seen many times. I've seen King Diamond.
Many times you've seen what? King Diamond?
Yeah, and Merciful Fate.
They were asking. Devil Heaven about Seamus Casey. I haven't seen enough of Seamus Casey to think about him anything. You don't
hear too much excitement. Also, I feel like it's I think you would hear more.
Well, he's been hurt.
He's been
hurt for like 2 months. He's not even in Utica. I don't even know what the fuck happened to this guy. So Devil, I don't know. Casey was great those first couple games. Was on a shooting bender. We talked about that. It's like, all right, everybody was all jazzed up for Casey, and it's like. Let's.
How many times you see that?
Shooting 30%, yeah, and then he comes back in. What was it? Last year or the beginning of this year? No, the beginning of this year when Pesci went down.
Might have been this year.
He was.
Remember how excited everyone was for Gooseoff? Everyone was excited.
The same thing happened to Lenny this year, where he came in out of the gate, scored a couple goals early, fell off for a little while. He was actually pretty good the past couple games. He's a
heady player.
He has really good one-on-one moves. He's been really good.
I think there's a big upside with Hamaneo. I'm fine with keeping him around, but again, I'm also fine if he's a part of a bigger trade. Devil, having to answer a couple of your questions real quick. Me personally, Salayev, if he comes out, it's got to be to learn the North American game. You throw his ass in Utica, and we see how he does. And as far as top trade bait players to bring, couple solid pieces in. Like, I don't know what the new GM's thoughts are going to be. We have no idea. Like, I mean, are they going to feel the same way about those players that we just went through? Or are they going to feel differently? I mean, it's not like you're going to be able to, I think, dump all these guys and fix this team in one off season. Like, you have to do a lot of in-house stuff. You're going to have to kind of tweak here and there. I think there's one big trade to be made and maybe one or two smaller ones, which is a lot of work, but that's what I think. But I have no idea who's it's going to be. I mean, there's no evidence that the team we have, as much as great of players as our top guys are, right? We have no evidence that this formula works. We have no evidence of it.
Something just doesn't fit and doesn't work. And it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating. But they went on a good run at the beginning of the season. They had a good run here. It's consistency. It's being able to do it throughout the year. It's being able to step in when that was kind of the biggest failures is Nico, Brad, Timo when Jack went down. Granted, look, there were a lot of other injuries that happened at that time, too. We talk about Jack, he's the engine that makes the season go. But Pesci went down on defense. Luke was also hurt for a little bit. Kovacevic was still out. Dougie was being deployed in a defensive only role. We lost a decent amount of players. I think Nico was even hurt a little bit there too. So I don't know. It's just the lost season. It's frustrating. So I think they hire the POHO first. If that's Shanahan, great. I like all the candidates that people are talking about. I've obviously endorsed Meta, but if it's Langenbrunner, sure. They're only. I'm more like I don't want certain guys. No to Chuck Flesher, no to Peter Chiarelli, and no to anybody internal. That's really
I don't think it's going to be anybody internal. I think that should be.
I think all those people are going to have to interview for their jobs.
Yeah, and they should. I mean, this has been an abject failure for the last 3 years. And, everyone, I love, I've heard Fitz didn't do all bad. And what did Fitz do that was so fucking great?
It's just,
but there's been nothing
a couple early contracts, right? A couple of the early contracts, I think he did. We all were kind of
okay. I'll give you a Jack's contract.
Yeah, we were impressed by that. I think obviously the last couple, it wasn't the same feeling, but I do remember that was one of the credits he was getting early on. Wow, he really pulled one off there.
Gave him a lot of credit for Timo, and Timo has not been what was advertised. Talk about being sold a bill of goods. Well, Tony, what's your thoughts on Hischier? Is he going to sign the extension?
I hope so. I really don't want to see him leave. There's certain players you don't want to see go, and there's part of me that would understand if he doesn't. If he sees if he has to take an honest look, and if he really wants to win, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he would leave. But I hope he doesn't, because I hope that he's one of those guys you don't want. I mean, he just is the devil. It just seems like he belongs. The Brodeurs. It doesn't. Actually, Brodeur left, but what I'm saying.
Yeah,
for a couple days. But yeah, I'd hate to see him go, man. There's certain players you just don't want to see go, and I even.
You see it in his face though, right? He's just sick of this shit. You could tell, he's fucking done. It's every freaking year. This dude has been to the playoffs 3 freaking times in his entire career and has not made it past game 5 of the second round. I mean, I would be frustrated too if I were him.
There's one thing I will say the Devils did get, was that the last couple of drafts when you think about the Patricks versus the Nikos, the Hughes, versus
Capo.
Yeah, it's but they really did make 2 good choices. You look at the way both of those really worked out.
Could you imagine what this team would look like if we had gone with Patrick and Capo?
It would look like it did when it was what's his name? When we had Camilleri in those, it wasn't a great team. It was just a team,
Zajac 1C.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it would be that kind of team where,
Well, Milton Patrick's out of the league. I don't think he plays anymore.
Yeah, but I feel bad for that kid though, because there was a lot of issues he was having, I guess. So
yeah, it was all concussion stuff. But Cale Makar was also there for. I don't know, was that a miss or I know the conversation was Patrick, Nico, but I feel like there's been some retroactive people who are trying to grab some attention, be oh, I was on Cale Makar too. It's No, you weren't.
No.
Nobody was. Like, stop talking.
I mean, look, Cale Makar is an amazing player, but I am happy that we got Nico. I like him.
Yeah,
I like
I am
his
too.
game, and I just hope that the new GM kind of can put his mind at ease, or at least make some moves that make him feel like, all right, you know what? I'll sign the extension. And maybe it's not the 70 million 7x10 we talked about. Maybe it's 3 or 4. Maybe you bridge him to kind of like, hey, let's do a 3-year deal at 35, 36 million something. And we see how things go, and kind of show him the proof, and then maybe you get him signed to another longer term, maybe the end of his career, then you can lock him up for 7 or whatever. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe it doesn't have to be a long term or nothing, because the last thing I want to do is go into next season and have a good team and have that hanging over us. Is he going to pull a fucking Marner and walk out and we're going to get with nothing, or do you trade him? And I don't ever want to have those conversations about Nico.
I think Nico, I don't know the guy, but I think he would let them. I think he would say, "Hey, let me out of here, or I'm going to do this." And I just think he's one thing. I think he is a pretty. I think he respects the organization. I'll say that.
I agree.
I don't
He's a
picture him
very
pulling
polite
something.
boy.
Yeah, he's just like just the way he carries himself and stuff. So I can't picture him totally sticking it to it. He won't Koval fuck us, but I mean,
Yeah, he seems like the type of person that would humbly be like, $70 million is a good amount of money.
Yes.
Like not being like, I want 72.5. But to your point, it's like, I would much rather give him 7 years at 11 million with no trade protection than 7 years and 10 with like a full boat anchor trade protection. It was like, we need to stop doing stuff like that, or
you got to give yourself
some
room
outs.
to maneuver.
You got to give yourself some outs. I think the only problem with giving himself like a 2 or even 3 year type of deal is that takes him to his age 30 season. I don't know if he gets the equivalent value after that, and so I think his age would, that's why you see all these long term deals. I kind of don't know if kind of was that English? Is that English? I'm not sure if that's English.
He's right though.
This is what Nico Hischier is probably going to end up doing. And you guys listen now and remember this 3 years from now. He'll sign a 3-year deal for the Devils, 30s, whatever, 35 million. Like you said, Tim brings him to his 30 year. At that point, guys aren't getting the big contracts, but Tom Fitzgerald will be general manager of Nashville. So when he's done here at 30, he'll probably get 15 million a year for 7 years in Nashville with full no trade and all the protections he wants. So Fitz is still there to go and coddle this and make sure that Nico's going to be okay.
And if we ever won anything by then, I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with that happening. I know there are a lot of people that think Nico, is part of the problem, but and everybody's part of the problem. But my issue is like there isn't a better alternative at center. Every single team in the league, like I was looking through center depth charts the other day, and it's just like there is not a better 2C option out there. What needs to happen is Nico needs to be given more offensive reign, and Glass needs to be given more defensive responsibilities. Like put Glass in some of those matchups, because let Hischier fucking loose a little bit more offensively. Because if he's consistently still getting these first line matchups to the other team, like he's gonna be pretty broken down by the time he reaches 30 if he keeps getting these.
Excellent point.
Tim, we need to get you out of the house. Look, sitting around reading scouting reports. I'm like, fuck, man.
Well, no, I'm like watching the game on my phone.
Over there?
I'm watching the game, fucking around on my phone, looking at like his J Fresh cards. Like there are only two centers out there that I think would be worth trying to replace Nico with, and that's Robert Thomas and Dylan Larkin. That would even potentially be available. I'll categorize them that too, because Detroit's fallen apart and St. Louis has been threatening to move Thomas for a year now.
Now the thing is that a guy like Rob Thomas,
you just hit your button.
Damn it. Sorry about that. A guy like Thomas, you could
caption.
probably. We're talking about like replacing Nico. Like you could probably get Thomas and keep Nico. Not sure about the other one, but I'm with you. Like there is not enough Nico Heishers in the league to allow us to just let him walk next year. I do want to touch on something before we wrap up because, like I said, we're kind of all over the place today because I think me especially, like my head's spinning with a million different ideas and concerns and things.
We'll get to stuff. Yeah.
Now, the one thing I want to say is this, and I want to know if you guys agree. I want a general manager plugged in as quickly as possible. And if they fire Keefe next week, which we all kind of expect them to do, Devil Heaven, I would love to get Matthew Nyes. Like that is that, but that's a move too. Like if you can do that with Nemo for Nyes, that's a fucking no-brainer. But anyway, I digress. Keefe will be gone. I do not want them to hire a coach right away. I want to wait until the playoffs are over. Because, I mean, look, what happened in the Western Conference Finals, right? Dallas is in it last year, and next week, Peter DeBoer is on the market. So, like, you don't know what's going to happen. You also don't know what team might get knocked out because they had a really bad goaltending performance or something like that, where Markey might be somebody you can slot and move to that team. So, coaching-wise, I am not in any rush. What do you guys think? Do you have anybody in mind that you would like to see take this team over, or are you guys kind of in the same boat? Let's just wait and see how the offseason plays out.
Yeah, off-season play out.
What, Tony? Speak up.
Yeah, off-season play out. I really don't know. Yeah.
I mean, no one that we haven't talked about before. I mean, interested to see what happens with Woodcroft as the assistant coach in Anaheim. So it's interesting to see if anything shakes out there. So, I'm not a big fan of the coach retread stuff, just like I'm not a fan of the GM retread stuff.
You don't want Peter Laviolette?
Ideas. No, I do not want Peter Laviolette. Look, Laviolette, everywhere he goes for the first year is like a massive, massive bump. So I don't know, maybe. But
I don't want a one-year guy.
I want a young coach. Too. Coach.
Same with me. Young, bold, hungry.
David Carl
going to his third championship in the past 4 years, or past 5 years, I think, right now.
That's the guy. I mean, right now, that's who I would lead with. They could talk about like a big fucking change. That would be a big change. And again, you talked about Dan Muse, talk about the success that Carberry has in Washington. These young guys that come in with some new ideas and a little freshness, or maybe you can get Paul Maurice out of Florida. Because I had a dream the other night that he was our coach.
I'd take that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Mike Ruff where I think it'd be hard pressed to pull Carl out of Denver. Same with Pecknold and Quinnipiac. Those guys just are so connected to those programs. Same with Pando and BU. So there's the South Carolina Stingrays who's an ECHL team, have like kind of like a bit of a coaching tree. And I think Warsofsky in San Jose, who's shown kind of good promise, Bednar in Colorado, and I think Carberry in DC are all about no to Lemaire. I don't even. Are these guys even still alive? Like, I have no fucking idea. Like, somebody was like
Lemaire like that, you motherfucker.
I know. I don't. Real quick, I don't agree with that Carl isn't going anywhere because he's got it made in the shade in Denver. I don't buy that. Like, the NHL is the fucking NHL, and if you've won it all in college, if you're a guy that's just going to rest on your laurels and just be, not want to actually go and try and take an NHL team to win a Stanley Cup, then I don't want you anyway. I don't buy that. Yeah, he could have a great deal, but the NHL is the NHL, and you have the opportunity.
I get it, but he has young kids, young family. Like, maybe if his kids get a little bit older, he'll be interested in doing something like that. But, getting into the NHL coaching carousel sets you up for needing to like bounce around a lot. With like a young family, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, I just think you go if that's the guy you identify, then you go after him.
Sure, I don't know. We'll see. I think they'd probably take someone more like
Bruce Cassidy.
Bruce Cassidy too. Oh, I've heard he's like a real prick. That's the other thing. It's like we can speculate all we want. We don't know what these people are really like. Like in theory, I like the idea of Shanahan and Meta. I do
Sure.
believe that we need someone like every team has some sort of analytics department and is data driven, but it's like some teams know the proper application of analytics and some teams don't. And I think ever since Tyler Dello left the Devils and went to Carolina, we use analytics. The Devils just don't use them properly and don't apply them properly and don't have anyone that can translate them to what that means on ice. And I think that's an important distinction that a lot of people are missing here. It's like you can't just look at a spreadsheet of numbers and understand it. You need to be able to interpret those numbers and what it means on the ice and what that means on the ice. Like you can build out a statistical profile of someone. Like there's trackers in the pucks, there's trackers in the jerseys. Like, you can measure every single thing that happens on ice. You can measure puck battles. You can even create kind of a proxy for like hardened effort by, how much, someone skates and how hard they skate and, how they're constantly moving their feet, so it's like, there are ways to build that out using analytics. I'm an amateur at it, but there are obviously professionals at it. Obviously Sonny Meta did a really good job in unearthing some pretty undervalued assets at the time. And Sam Reinhart, Carter Verhaeghe, who are the other ones? Sam Bennett, who is a master, and he was a huge part of the Matthew Tkachuk trade. He identified Tkachuk's skill set as a net front interior player and was like, we need more of that. He also recognized on his end, even though Huberdeau put up 115 points, that he was on an assist bender because of the shooting percentages of his line mates. So it's like sell high, buy low, and that's what you got to be doing. And that's, he's an option. He's also an options trader, which is kind of like, as well as being a professional poker player, which I think shows you that he has discipline, but he also has some fucking balls. And I think that's a great combination.
I'm with you. Like, I don't know much about this dude, but I do know that, if you're integral in bringing Matthew Tkachuk to Florida, then, it gets me excited if he is the guy, because, what's the big move? Because, I mean, you're talking about this Florida Panther team at over 100 points, won the President's Trophy, lost in the first round. Burnett lost his fucking job. And next thing you know, Huberdeau's gone, Tkachuk's in, and they're going to finals and winning Stanley Cup. So, quick.
Balls and discipline.
Yeah. Balls is the big, yes. Those are the two things. You're right. Balls and discipline. All right. So it's getting a little late. Let's wrap this up real quick, and we'll do our whole playoff stuff next week when all the seeding is done. Tony, who do you want to see in the finals? And who do you want to win the cup? And then who do you think is going to win the cup? So it's a little different.
Go to me last if you could, Chris.
Okay. Tim.
I would like
what would
to
be
see
the best final that you would want to see?
Buffalo, Dallas.
Buffalo, San Jose.
San Jose is not going to make the playoffs.
Right now, they're in the wild card. No, they're not.
They're not going to make. They're out of it.
All right. So you got Buffalo, Dallas is what you want to see?
I think that would be a very, very fun
Utah
series.
in?
Yeah, Utah's in.
Utah's a good pick.
There you go.
See the
Utah,
Zamet?
Buffalo.
Did you see this shit, Tony? Did you see this fucking thing?
What is it?
It's called the Zamet. They from the 2002 Salt Lake games. They took the Zamboni from the 2002 Salt Lake games, retrofitted, turned it all around, and turned it into a fucking Zamboni that's shaped like a woolly mammoth. And then they have like an open air kind of like tour bus thing on top of it, and they just bring it on the ice and clean the ice with like 10 people on top, just having a party in the fucking thing. It's so awesome. Like Utah's doing the fucking best shit. Yeah. Imagine having cool owners.
No, that's who I want to see and love to see in the final. A Buffalo Utah final would be everything, but I don't think that's going to happen.
To go Buffalo Dallas, because I think Utah's just, I don't want to see them get there so fast.
All right, so who do you think is going to win the cup?
Me?
Yeah, anybody.
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah, I think it's going to be Tampa, Colorado.
Tone?
It's hard to go against. It's hard to say that Tampa won't be. I could see Tampa, Colorado.
I could see Tampa, Colorado too. But who's third in the Atlantic right now?
Montreal.
Okay, I don't see. I'd love to see Montreal get far too. I just don't think they're built that way. I don't think they're built for long playoff run right now. Well,
Did
Florida's
you see that Cole Caulfield scored his 50th?
yeah. I was glad he didn't do it against us.
Sorry, it's Buffalo, Montreal. Tampa's actually in third right now. Buffalo's leading the Atlantic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, here's my Stanley Cup final. Pittsburgh, Vegas.
That would be wild. I can see it. I don't know. Vegas is
That's my
17.
I worry about their goaltending,
Tortorella will
but
be all over their asses, though.
Vegas has the same amount of points as the Capitals do.
that's crazy.
But I think they're like 4-0, or hang on, let me see. I think they're like
haven't eaten
4-0
any
since
gummies,
Torch
asshole.
started.
What?
Well, Utah was an expansion draft. They were they moved from Arizona. It's not really.
Yeah, they're not expansion. They're
They're
the
not
Coyotes.
expansion. And I kind of like that owner and what they do, and it's just
I do
like
too.
I wish we had like enough of these fucking hedge funds where like a pro sports team is part of a portfolio.
Yep.
Like Fenway Sports is doing that. HBSC does that. MLSC does that. You know, HBSC, what do they own? Like 2 soccer teams, the fucking Kappa or the Redskins, the Sixers. Like, excuse me. The NBA had to step in on them with the Sixers because they were tanking so badly.
The days of owners like Dr. John McMullen are long, long gone, and that's a shame. But any final thoughts, boys, before we wrap this up? But we apologize. We had like nothing really planned. We just kind of went all over the place and bitched and moaned a little bit. And we will have a little bit more order moving forward into the playoffs. But, you know, there's just a lot going on with the Devils. So we want to kind of just make a splash and talk about everything. Tony, anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
And we can't afford to drive anywhere these days. So this is where we wind up.
Dude, it's fucking ridiculous, man.
We can talk about draft stuff after a little while, but it's kind of interesting how it's shaping up.
We got 2 more weeks to the NFL draft, which I'm excited for.
Did you see when Jack threw out the first pitch that JJ McCarthy was with him?
Yeah.
They're like best friends or something like that. Very weird.
I mean, I guess JJ went to school with Luke, right? So he probably.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Fair. That's a good connection.
And
Luke
I'm
was
so happy. I'm so happy our boy didn't leave, man. I have to admit, dude. Now I'm even more excited. Like, I'm stoked. And he says this is where I belong. I fucked up. I shouldn't even try to get out of here. Basically.
What do you think about the Kirk Cousins signing?
It's good because I understand. I'm not a Cousins fan, really, to be honest. But I will say this: I understand what they're doing. And with Mendoza's like Cousins Jr. Like he's just like they're both like they're both very religious, so to say. And they're both like just like Kirk Cousins. I was always telling my wife, I'm like, he looks like he belongs on like a Hallmark fucking Christmas movie. This dude, he's always just like, you know, even when he was on, I watched actually the press conferences he's done with the Raiders this week.
Yeah,
and you know, they keep on like fucking with him, and he said, "Man, I have to get the other day he was doing his first press conference with the Raiders. He's like, no, I need to get some tattoos on my face. He's like, I need to get ready for this. So it's, you know, he gets it because, you know, the Raiders it's a rough ride, man. But I'm pretty excited this year, I have to admit. And I'm not losing Max, man. It's like, I know what it's like to lose him for like a couple days and then he's back. Like, it's great, you know.
That quarterback setup is so perfect. And I continue to be astonished when teams don't understand that that's how you need to do it. Or you need to have
Brady forces that.
Yeah, it's just like look at Green Bay. They went Favre to Rodgers to Love, and it's just like every single one of those guys spent 2 to 3 years carrying a fucking clipboard, learning. It's like throwing these kids into the fire is fucking ridiculous.
And what I saw, watching Kirk Cousins for 6 years in Minnesota, I have not seen him as happy as he seems going to Vegas. Like it's this spot when he's coming out saying like, look, I mean, whoever's going to start, the best player is going to start. Like, I don't care.
Saw that?
Like,
it's pretty cool, man.
And when he says that, though, you can actually believe it because that's how he is. He's an honest dude, and I think he's going to be great for Mendoza. And worst case, Mendoza struggles. You have a guy that can go in and win you fucking games.
Well, don't put Mendoza in.
Cousins will start. Cousins is going to start. He's going to start. What'll happen is, because that was the thing I had heard too. Like Brady's really big on this because when the way he came up, he learned other people's playbooks and watched them from the sidelines. He actually feels, which kind of sucks to hear because I do want to see Mendoza play. Brady feels like you shouldn't even play the first season. You should just
I agree.
I agree with him.
You know,
it doesn't matter if you get your fucking ass kicked and you're getting a veteran quarterback murdered. Do not throw your rookie quarterback into the fire.
I had heard they even said to Crosby, that was one of the rumors. They took him to the side. They're like, listen, we never want, and this is what they've said the whole time, the organization, like, we never wanted him to go. So it wasn't it's what he wanted. But they kind of, I've heard that, like, they sat him down and was like, listen, next year we're probably not winning, but we're going to improve, stick with the team, and you'll be a Raider for life. And I think that's going to be the setup, because one thing Max did say, which I really thought was cool, is that, like, he saw the other side and it wasn't that great getting out. He's like, it's just, this is where he belongs. It's just.
All right. Last question. Should Diana Rossini be fucking fired?
Hang on one second.
Yes,
right,
yes, I do.
Hang on. Just quickly, the funniest thing I saw on Twitter the other day was it was, who do you want to speak with the aliens first when they come to Earth? And someone responded, Kirk Cousins' agent.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll leave and we would just have boats of money everywhere.
Yes, it's just like, you want someone who can negotiate. Yeah.
Hey, look, if there's a Hall of Fame for negotiating, Kirk Cousins' first ballot, no doubt. This guy has a first ever guaranteed contract in the NFL and just gets more and more fucking money thrown at him every single year, which is crazy. But
yeah,
did you hear about this Diana Rossini shit?
She should be fired.
I did hear about it yesterday.
Before this happened. Now I fucking really hate her.
Like, she's fucking sucking dick for inside scoops. Like, absolutely.
Is that what it was?
So she was photographed, her and Mike Vrabel at some, like, posh couples fucking $2,000 a night resort out in Arizona or something.
Well, wasn't it where the coaches meeting was?
They were there, like, there was nobody else there. That's what somebody else said. Like, they weren't there with other friends or whatever. Like, they were there together. So there was some pictures of them, like, holding hands and dancing and hugging and shit. She's the fucking beat reporter for the freaking Patriots. Like, she fucking gets scoops that nobody else, like, she's been the biggest one out there for AJ Brown to go to New England and all this stuff because she's fucking Mike Vrabel. Like, that's, first of all, you just did a huge disservice to every other female sports reporter in the fucking world that wants to actually go out there and make a name for themselves and not just be looked at as some dumb fucking chick. And you're the, like, work for the Athletic, and this is what you do.
Tim's looking her up on Instagram. He's like, what's this?
No, I already did that last night.
I hate her. I don't like her. I shouldn't say hate. I just don't like her.
So many people to hate these days.
I know, and it's too much. I don't hate her.
Yeah, let's not get into that. I hope
that Vrabel makes her very happy. I just don't think she should be fucking reporting on the Patriots anymore. But all right, we're gonna wrap.
All right, well, that was 10 minutes of nonsense. I hope everybody stuck around for our football talk.
And once again, Devil season, before it's even over, is done and dusted. Unbelievable. All right, boys and girls, we are going to get on out of here. Thanks again for hanging out with us. We'll be back next week. I won't even be watching the Red Wing game tomorrow. But if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the like, subscribe, please. We need some of those. Leave a comment. Preferably somebody other than Devil Heaven talking about shitting over guardrails. Don't stop posting about shitting over guardrails. Just, maybe some more people. If you're listening to us, a like, a 5-star review, a positive comment does help the little podcast that could. That's basically it. Chris, he's Tony. The other guy's Tim. We're the Uncle Puckers.
Peace.
And we'll see you when we see you.
Later, boys.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Can't believe Bob was getting all his info from Rossini too.